Tonight, a dramatic political cliffhanger plays out on Parliament Hill.
All those in favour of the motion.
The Liberal government survives a razor-thin vote of confidence to avoid a snap election.
Yeas pour 170, sans 70. Nays contre 168, sans 63.
How Mark Carney and his budget passed a crucial test. The callous robberies connected to cemeteries, what the thieves stole, and the disturbing tactic used to disguise their identity. And a concerning cancer trend.
We aren't making the progress that we had seen before.
What the stunning shift signals in the fight against one type of the disease.
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina.
Good evening. There will not be a holiday election after the Liberals narrowly survived a crucial vote on the budget this evening, giving them a political lifeline in a minority government. 170 MPs voted yay to support the budget. 168 voted nay against it, with abstentions from 2 Conservatives and 2 NDP MPs. CTV's Abigail Beeman starts us off tonight with how the political drama unfolded in the House.
Yeas pour 170, sans 70. Nays contre 168, sans 63.
A Liberal minority government on the razor's edge of a majority, 170 seats to the opposition's combined 173, survives this budget confidence test with a tight vote result.
This is not about us. This is about Canadians. And the vast, vast, vast majority of Canadians want us to try to make this parliament work. They do not want an election.
2 of 7 NDP MPs abstained from voting, Gord Johns and Laurie Idloot. So did 2 Conservatives, Shannon Stubbs, whose office said she was on approved medical leave, and Matt Gere, who announced his resignation after floor-crossing rumors.
Mr. Speaker, I was unable to use my app. I would like to vote no.
2 more Conservative MPs initially appeared to have abstained, citing technical difficulties, including House Leader Andrew Scheer.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I had technical difficulty. I would like to vote no.
They were both in the House as well. So one could possibly surmise that maybe they were waiting to see which way the vote was going to go themselves before they decided if they were going to abstain or if they were going to vote against it.
The only opposition member to vote with the government?
Can he confirm here on the floor of this House that in passing this budget, the government is committed to holding to as far below 2 degrees as possible?
Green Party leader Elizabeth May, who said this exchange in question period.
I can confirm to this House that we will respect our Paris commitments for climate change and we're determined to achieve them.
Was enough to win her support for this one vote. It all boils down to the minority Liberal government surviving for now, avoiding a Christmas election. Omar?
All right, Abigail, thank you. And joining us now is CTV's chief political correspondent, Vashi Capello. So, Vashi, ultimately, the outcome the Liberals and the Prime Minister, Mark Carney, wanted. But talk to us a little bit about the tactical play for the NDP tonight.
Well, Omar, the primary tactic for the NDP here is simply to avoid an election. And I think Canadians are well aware of the situation the NDP finds itself in, both from a fundraising perspective and just sheer party status, the loss of it. So it makes sense from a political perspective that they would try to have it both ways, to essentially stave off that election, but be able to say to Canadians, hey, 5 of us voted against it, so we aren't happy with this budget. We're not the same as the NDP in the last election, which was so closely aligned on a number of fronts with the Liberal Party at the time. I think they will have a difficult time landing that message, though, because ultimately it will look like they helped the government survive another day. So they're going to face some challenges there. I also think at the same time the Conservatives will face challenges and a number of questions on why one of their MPs, Matt Gere, who a few weeks ago was widely speculated could be crossing the floor, decided to abstain. It's not nothing, and they will face questions over that as well. Omar?
All right, Vashi, thank you. And just before that vote, Parliament got a dose of Hollywood star power from Richard Gere. The actor and human rights activist was in the capital to advocate for Tibetan independence from China. Gere offered a friendly warning to Ottawa as it pivots away from the U.S. and seeks new partners.
So I think to make corrections in relationship with China as a correction to the relationship with the U.S., I think is problematic. I think we should just take a deep breath, relax a little bit, and look at things realistically.
In other news, a new snapshot on the cost of living shows inflation eased last month, but many are still feeling the squeeze. CTV's John Venavelli-Rao on what Canadians are paying more for, even though overall inflation is down.
While the price of gas is still higher than many drivers would like, StatsCan says the cost for that fill-up has been coming down, with prices falling more than 9% compared to a year ago and 4% in the last month, in part as motorists switch to less expensive winter gas blends, along with another big factor.
This is still being affected by the removal of the carbon tax earlier this year.
And at the grocery store, prices also coming down, falling more than 0.5% from September to October, the biggest monthly drop since 2020, while year over year, prices are still up 3.4%.
Maybe I've seen some small relief in some areas, but still generally higher than they have been.
A lot of things are definitely still pretty expensive. Some things are definitely a thorn in my side, like the price of beef, for example.
The 1 month fall attributed in part to the elimination of many counter tariffs on U.S. products.
The food inflation rate dropped, which is certainly good news, and we were expecting it, to be honest. There's less pressure at the border. Counter tariffs are gone now since September 1st, and it's helping. It's helping.
It's all contributing to overall inflation coming in at 2.2% in October, down from the previous month, though notably some items getting a lot more expensive. Cell phone plan prices rising around 7% year over year, as did home and mortgage insurance and car insurance.
When we talk about stickiness of underlying inflation, insurance is really a big issue, and it's a big issue right across Canada. And I'm sure most homeowners and vehicle owners are really feeling this.
Rent also up 5% year over year. Meanwhile, the numbers released today has economists now betting the Bank of Canada will hold interest rates steady for the rest of the year. John Venavelli-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
And keeping the rate steady means anyone searching for a house is unlikely to get any more short-term relief. CTV's Adrian Gobriel on the new numbers showing the impact of the rate cuts so far.
I've been struggling, basically making income.
Miriam Mousavi admits she's been struggling financially as a full-time real estate agent in the Greater Toronto area. Her net income has dropped significantly since home sales in her region began to plummet.
200 to 300K versus for past year, I think I didn't make more than 50K.
A single mother, she was forced to list her own home in April. 7 months later, it hasn't sold.
I have to basically beg people to come and just even look at the house.
The national average sale price of a home sold in October was just over $690,000, down 1.1% from a year ago, according to the Canadian Real Estate Association.
If you're in Quebec or you're in Saskatchewan or you're in Atlantic, you're in good shape. If you're in Ontario or British Columbia or maybe even Calgary, you got some issues.
This home east of Toronto was purchased in September 2024 for $2.3 million. Last month, it sold for $1.2 million. The seven-figure loss is the result of a power of sale.
Power of sales are way up in the GTA. They're up 90% compared with what they were just a few months ago.
Losing the homes to the banks is a real possibility that has led to sleepless nights for Mousavi.
I've never seen anything like this before. With no income, I couldn't even pay my mortgage, and I have to sell the house.
The Canadian Real Estate Association expects the housing market to become more active in 2026, though some experts we spoke with say the economic uncertainty could prolong the pain for many. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Newmarket, Ontario.
To a shocking crime spree in the Toronto area now. 2 people have been arrested in connection with 300 thefts at mausoleums and cemeteries. The value of the items worth thousands of dollars. As CTV's Rahim Ladhani reports, the thieves so heartless, they even dumped ashes in the process.
The Last Supper Mausoleum is one of at least 8 across the Greater Toronto area, which police say has been robbed in recent months.
I was outraged. You stole from the dead. What kind of person are you? Those are the words of a grieving family member, a victim of an absolutely heinous crime.
Halton police say this wasn't a crime of opportunity, but one that took meticulous planning. accusing 45-year-old John Rutch and 31-year-old Jordan Noble of going to cemeteries in broad daylight, often posing as grieving family members. Police allege they would then enter mausoleums and use a tool to break the niche compartments open, stealing jewelry, decorative urns, and even discarding human ashes.
At this point in time, we have reasonable grounds to lay 3 charges for indignity to a dead body.
Police believe the pair committed more than 300 thefts from cremation niches across Toronto, Oakville, Burlington, and the Niagara region. On November 7th, police executed a search warrant at a motel in Niagara Falls. They arrested the duo and found thousands of dollars worth of stolen property. These are nearly 600 of the stolen items which have been recovered by police. Everything from watches to necklaces to very personal keepsakes. And this is just a fraction of the recovered goods because the accused have admitted to melting down many other pieces. The Ontario Association of Cemetery and Funeral Professionals says together with our members, we will continue working collaboratively with law enforcement and our regulator to ensure Ontario's places of remembrance remain safe, secure, and dignified. Investigators believe there are likely other victims who aren't yet aware their niche has been robbed.
And we encourage anyone who may not have been to the site of a loved one recently to check in and ensure it's still secure.
Hundreds of recovered items are now being cataloged and returned to families. But investigators lament many stolen items have likely already been sold at pawn shops. Raheem Ladani, CTV News, Toronto.
In an unexpected reversal, U.S. President Donald Trump is now urging fellow Republicans to support the release of more Epstein files in a vote expected in Congress tomorrow.
They can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much because, honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax.
Earlier, Trump posted that he has nothing to hide after he previously opposed efforts to make the documents public. However, facing a mounting revolt from his MAGA base, his messaging has changed. Even if the House votes in favor of unsealing documents, the move still has to go through the Senate. A legal rebuke from a federal judge on the case against Trump foe James Comey, accusing the Justice Department of, quote, profound investigative missteps and perhaps even government misconduct in how the prosecutor aligned with Trump on criminal charges against the former FBI director.
Would I launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. Whatever we have to do to stop drugs.
Trump, meanwhile, voiced his support today for potential U.S. military action in Mexico and also Colombia as part of wider American efforts against drug cartels and trafficking. And the UN Security Council voted tonight in favor of a U.S. resolution bolstering Donald Trump's Gaza peace plan. It includes the deployment of an international stabilization force. Hamas rejected the resolution, saying it fails to meet Palestinian rights and demands. The draft raises the possibility of a future Palestinian state, something Israel opposes. Back here at home, the Swedish royal family begins a rare 3-day state visit to Canada tomorrow. And while there's talk of fighter jets from the Nordic country joining Canada's fleet, Swedes are also using unique options to deal with threats against their own country. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin got a look in Stockholm.
Every Swede says the government has a role in case of attack or crisis.
This is the shelter room.
Nicholas Ivert's task is to convert the storage space attached to his home into a bomb shelter.
This is all the material which was originally provided by the Swedish state.
Ivert bought this home 3 years ago. Ventilation equipment, airlock, big iron doors included. It was outfitted during the Cold War.
Here you can see a map of all the shelters.
It's one of more than 64,000 shelters in Sweden.
I have to open up for the neighbors, and everyone are allowed to come in here.
Ivert once contacted authorities to see whether it would be possible to decommission the space, turn it into a small apartment.
If you would have asked 20 years ago, maybe, or 10 years ago, but nowadays, there's no chance.
The government says escalating geopolitical tensions, the invasion of Ukraine, have changed the world. Enlisting all citizens to prepare, even if it's only to pack an emergency kit, is part of a concept called total defense that the country's defense minister says is key.
We're not going to get the bang for the buck on the defense investment if we don't have strong and resilient societies.
Canada's Cold War-era shelters have largely been destroyed, abandoned, or turned into museums.
Automatically close in case of an explosion on the outside.
In Sweden, public shelters neglected in peacetime are now getting an overhaul.
Inside there are the power unit.
This one, built in the 1950s, that doubles as a parking garage, has been upgraded to provide shelter to 1,200 people. Louise Ribbing's love of animals has led her to volunteer at the Royal Stables, riding one of the King of Sweden's horses for exercise.
She's kind of frisky, yeah.
Yes. But she also joined an organization called Blue Star, originally created to protect animals like cows key to the food chain during wartime. It now extends to caring for pets in times of crisis.
It's something that I can help with in the event that the society needs me, my country needs me.
Now, everyone here, of course, hopes this will never have to be deployed. But being prepared is key to military planning, they say. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Stockholm.
Coming up.
The rates now in 2022 are the same as they were in 1992.
The type of cancer posing a persistent threat to Canadians. After decades of decline, cervical cancer rates across Canada have stalled, causing concern among some cancer experts. CTV's Sarah Plowman on the new numbers and how to get the fight to eliminate the disease back on track.
Every day, hundreds of Canadians hear those dreaded words, "You have cancer." For Linda Wu, that moment happened 35 years ago when she saw a doctor for her pregnancy and learned she had cervical cancer.
If I hadn't gotten pregnant, I wouldn't have known. I would have been like every other woman who discovered it when it was too late.
A new report shows after a long period of steady decline, cervical cancer rates have plateaued.
We need to have collective action and concerted efforts to get back on track.
For women aged 35 to 55, cervical cancer is actually increasing.
The rates now in 2022 are the same as they were in 1992.
The Canadian Cancer Society points to several factors behind the shift, like increased transmission of human papillomavirus, HPV, which causes most cervical cancers. They also say there's been low uptake of the vaccine, lower cervical screening rates, and gaps in follow-up care.
This is generally a preventable cancer.
Dr. Amanda Selk says cervix cancer doctors are noticing more cancer cases, and some are more advanced.
If you can just get yourself screened and follow through with treatment, we treat people all the time and they do really well.
Screening is also changing as more provinces move to HPV testing as the primary method, a move the Canadian Cancer Society wants all governments to follow.
We want to be able to say by 2040, no one will have this cancer in Canada.
The report also shows how cancer mortality rates overall have dropped, and mortality rates for lung, colorectal, and bladder cancers have been declining rapidly. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
An animal sanctuary in the Okanagan is pleading with the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to spare their peacocks. The plea comes after an avian flu outbreak forced the culling of 15 birds. Critter Aid in Summerland says the farm was immediately shut down after several chickens tested positive for H5N1. The sanctuary is still waiting for the agency's final decision. And elsewhere in BC, wild video that scientists are calling the first evidence of this type of behavior by wolves. A sea wolf on a beach on BC's central coast can be seen pulling a line attached to a crab trap from the water. The wolf picks up the trap with its mouth, moves it to shallower water, and eats the bait inside. Still ahead, what Donald Trump's new FIFA pass means for ticket holders trying to enter the U.S. for the World Cup. Donald Trump says he will speed up visas for foreign soccer fans who scored World Cup tickets for matches taking place next year in 11 U.S. cities.
To ensure that soccer fans from all around the world are properly vetted and able to come to the United States next summer easily.
The FIFA Pass gives ticket holders the chance to jump the line to get their visa application and interview prioritized, but does not guarantee entry. Most of the matches will be played in the United States. The newly crowned Grey Cup champions savored a sweet victory with their loyal fan base in Saskatchewan.
So this Grey Cup is your guys' as well. And so anybody that wants to say we only got 5, well, guess what? How many did they get this year? No!
The Rough Riders returned home fresh off beating the Montreal Alouettes in Winnipeg. Fans rushed to get their hands on some coveted championship merchandise. Next up for the Green and White is tomorrow's Grey Cup parade in Regina. Still ahead, a life-changing bit of good luck, nearly 1 year in the making. A Canadian family got caught up in the excitement of a massive and meaningful lottery win. Here's CTV's Kimberly Johnson on a life-changing jackpot that appeared to be in the cards.
It's the announcement that changed Shelley Eckford's life forever. The moment she found out she won $2.45 million.
I'm extremely happy. I'm extremely grateful.
Eckford won the money in the Catch the Ace lottery held by the Kin Club of Russell. Every week, a draw was held to open one of 52 envelopes in search of the winning ace of spades.
We started with 52 cards of a deck. We're down to 2.
The lottery running for 51 weeks, swelling to millions, leading to a frenzy of ticket buying in Russell and across Ontario before Sunday's draw.
I said if I'm meant to win, the right number will be picked. This just blows my mind.
More than 86,000 tickets were purchased, helping raise more than $3.3 million for 26 charities, including Breast Cancer Action Ottawa.
This has been the most epic thing that could ever happen to the organization.
It's great to live in this town, and everybody gets together, and it's collaborative. It's wonderful, and if you keep on asking, you'll get tears in my eyes.
The ultimate win-win that Eckford and her husband never thought would include them.
At work, and I was driving on the highway, and Shelley phoned me, and she's like so excited and couldn't hardly breathe or talk. And then I'm like, "What's going on?" She's like, "I just won $2.4 million. I was like, "You're joking me."
She's been playing on and off for 3 years, but when the pot swelled, she jumped in. In all, she spent just $50. Eckford says she now has dreams of going on their first family trip and renovating their home, but it's looking at her 15-year-old daughter, knowing they can provide for her, that means the most.
Worry about your kids. It's nice to be able to do that for her. Yeah.
Grateful to the organizers who gave up their weekends all year to make it happen.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, life-changing.
Kimberly Johnson, CTV News.
So great to see. That's a snapshot of this Monday for all of us at CTV National News. Thank you for watching. Good night, and see you tomorrow.
CTV National News, Canada's #1 newscast.